At exactly 10:48 p.m. on March 25, 2022, emergency services received a call that would later be recognized as a final plea for survival. The young woman on the line did not know that she had only minutes left to live. Her voice was calm but urgent, shaped by fear she had lived with for years. McKenzie Anderson was just 21 years old. To friends and family, she was known as Max, a nickname that matched her energetic personality. She was described as vibrant, affectionate, and endlessly social. She loved dancing late into the night, chasing sunsets along the Newcastle coastline, and sharing snippets of her life online. Her social media painted a picture of joy, laughter with friends, small adventures, and tender moments with her baby boy. Her 1-year-old son was the center of her world. She referred to him with playful affection, calling him her love bug and her little caterpillar. Becoming a mother had changed her. Although McKenzie had struggled since her teenage years with methamphetamine addiction, the birth of her child marked a turning point. She was actively trying to rebuild her life, seeking stability, safety, and a future that looked nothing like her past. To those closest to her, McKenzie seemed hopeful. She had entered a new relationship and spoke optimistically about the year ahead. But behind the smiling photos was a reality few truly understood. She was living under the shadow of fear. That fear had a name: Tyrone Thompson. McKenzie met Thompson in late 2019. At first, he appeared understanding, someone who could relate to hardship. Thompson himself had grown up in chaos, surrounded by violence, abuse, and instability. His childhood included a mentally ill and violent parent, sexual abuse by a teacher, and repeated exposure to domestic conflict. What McKenzie could not see at the beginning was how deeply those experiences had shaped him. Thompson suffered from severe psychological disorders, including complex trauma and a dangerous need for control. That need surfaced quickly. What began as charm soon transformed into intimidation. From early in the relationship, Thompson monitored McKenzie's movements, isolated her from friends, and used violence, both physical and emotional, to dominate her life. His behavior was not subtle, it was relentless. He demanded control over where she went, who she spoke to, and how she lived. Thompson's mental state raised serious concerns. He held disturbing beliefs, including delusions about being poisoned and controlled by shadowy forces. While later psychiatric evaluations confirmed he was not legally psychotic at the time of his crimes, professionals would conclude that he fully understood his actions. That distinction would become tragically important. By late 2021, McKenzie's friends began seeing physical evidence of abuse. Bruises appeared, injuries were explained away, then no longer hidden. The violence was escalating. McKenzie knew she was in danger. She reached out to domestic violence organizations, asking for help installing security measures, such as reinforced doors and cameras. In emails, she expressed fear and desperation, explaining that she did not feel safe in her own home. She also confided in friends with chilling certainty. She told them, calmly and without drama, that Tyrone Thompson would eventually kill her. It was not speculation, it was a prediction grounded in lived experience. In October 2021, Thompson was arrested and charged with assault, intimidation, and property damage related to McKenzie. He was sentenced to a maximum of 10 months in prison. For a brief moment, McKenzie felt relief. She believed the danger had paused. But prison did not end Thompson's obsession. It only strengthened it. Unbeknownst to McKenzie, his time behind bars would soon be cut short, a decision that would set the stage for an irreversible tragedy.
While Tyrone Thompson was incarcerated, McKenzie Anderson tried to reclaim her life. She secured an apprehended violence order, legally prohibiting Thompson from contacting her or approaching her home. On paper, it was meant to protect her. In reality, she knew a document could not stop someone who had never respected boundaries or laws. During Thompson's sentence, a critical decision was made. His non-parole period was reduced on appeal from 5 months to just over 4 months. The adjustment seemed minor. The consequences were not. Rather than reflecting on his actions, Thompson spent his time fixated on McKenzie. He spoke obsessively about her and developed a reputation among prison staff and inmates as volatile and dangerous. His anger did not fade, it sharpened. As his release date approached, McKenzie's anxiety intensified. She told friends she feared what would happen once Thompson was free. Her instincts told her that legal protections would not be enough. On March 9, 2022, Thompson was released from prison. Within hours, he violated his parole and the violence order by contacting McKenzie. The message was chilling. He told her he was coming for her and declared his love. To McKenzie, the meaning was unmistakable. It was a threat masked as affection. Thompson did not stop. When McKenzie blocked him, he created new social media accounts. He contacted people connected to her new partner, searching for information about her location and routine. His behavior was deliberate, persistent, and escalating. The following day, Thompson assaulted his own father. Despite this violent breach of parole, he was granted conditional bail. Over the next several days, Thompson violated the violence order 8 separate times. 8 documented breaches, 8 opportunities to intervene. Each violation confirmed that Thompson posed a serious risk. Each time, the system failed to act decisively. He remained free. During this period, McKenzie continued limited contact with Thompson. To outsiders, it may have appeared like reconciliation. In truth, she was trying to manage a volatile and dangerous man while protecting her child. Friends could hear the fear in her voice. She repeated the same belief: Thompson was going to kill her. On March 24th, one day before her death, Thompson allegedly breached the violence order again. The pattern was undeniable. The danger was escalating rapidly. Meanwhile, Thompson's mental state continued to deteriorate. Prison had provided no treatment, no intervention, and no meaningful assessment of risk. His obsession deepened, and the systems designed to protect McKenzie failed repeatedly. The next day, March 25th, began like any other, but by nightfall it would become one of the most devastating examples of preventable domestic violence in Australian history.
On the afternoon of March 25, 2022, McKenzie Anderson was at her unit on Krebert Street in Mayfield with Tyrone Thompson and a male friend. They were drinking casually, attempting to maintain normalcy. But tension lingered beneath the surface. After only a small amount of alcohol, Thompson's demeanor shifted. He became emotional, telling McKenzie that he loved her and accusing her of failing to appreciate him. The words were familiar, possessive, controlling, and ominous. As the afternoon progressed, McKenzie asked Thompson to leave. Instead of calming the situation, her request increased his agitation. Sensing danger, she sent a text message to her friend, "Don't leave me alone with him." Thompson then moved knives around the kitchen, placing one openly on the counter. The act was deliberate and threatening. Around 9:30 p.m., McKenzie's friend convinced Thompson to leave and walked him toward the train station. It appeared the immediate danger had passed. It had not. Thompson returned. He climbed onto McKenzie's second-floor balcony and broke into her home. She woke to find him inside her bedroom, using her phone as if he belonged there. Once again, he was persuaded to leave, but McKenzie knew he would return. At approximately 10:40 p.m., she called emergency services. She reported that her ex-partner had broken into her home, threatened her with knives, and that she had a current violence order against him. She calmly explained that one knife was missing and believed Thompson was still armed. She was asking for help.
She followed every instruction she had been given. 8 minutes later, she sent her final message. He's back. At 10:48 p.m., Thompson launched his attack. Over the next 2 minutes, he stabbed McKenzie 78 times using 2 kitchen knives. The violence was so extreme that one knife snapped from the force. Neighbors heard the assault and called police. Witnesses later described seeing Thompson standing over her in silence as he continued stabbing her. McKenzie fought to escape, but was overpowered. When police arrived, they found her critically injured outside her unit. Her 1-year-old son was present, covered in blood but unharmed. Despite efforts by paramedics, McKenzie died at the scene. Thompson was arrested immediately. He showed no remorse, later admitting to repeatedly stabbing her until she stopped moving. For nearly 3 years, he claimed self-defense. Just 1 week before trial, he pleaded guilty to murder. In May 2025, Thompson was sentenced to 22 years and 6 months in prison, with a non-parole period of 15 years and 6 months. The sentence sparked outrage. McKenzie's mother, Tabitha Ackert, called it an insult to women everywhere. Her grief became action. She discovered that domestic violence services had closed McKenzie's request for help after her death. Tabitha launched a petition that gathered over 30,000 signatures. In November 2025, New South Wales passed historic legislation establishing a 25-year standard non-parole period for the murder of a current or former intimate partner. McKenzie Anderson's death exposed catastrophic failures, but it also forced change. Her story became a warning, a lesson, and a legacy written in law.